Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is our Trades back with another video. It is Sunday, June the 23rd, 2024. Guys, no video tonight. Just going to make a quick update on the latest market news, and then we're going to have a look over at Tradingview and the futures markets charts. Guys, if you like this content, if you want to support me in making more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you're going to use a simulated or a prop firm challenge using Topstep Trader Funding, Apex Trader Funding, or the Trading Pit, I'd ask that you use my affiliate link in the description box below. Guys, every time that you use that affiliate link, it really helps me out, so I'd appreciate that. Okay, guys, with that being said, it is Sunday, June the 23rd, 2024. Let's get into some of our latest market headlines. We are on Financial Juice, and top headline reads, "Autocracy is evil. Taiwan president says after China threatens death for separatism." Apple and Meta have discussed AI partnership, and that's according to the South China Morning Post. All right, guys, looking for any other key headlines here. Bank of Japan debated need for timely rate hike at June meeting, summary shows. Prudential plans $2 billion share buyback. Japan warns against rapid Forex moves and reiterates readiness for action. Guys, looks also like the USD INR, which is the Indian rupee, drifts lower amid India's foreign inflows and lower crude prices. Okay, guys, not a ton of headlines here. Some of our economic data coming out. We have the Dutch GDP quarter over quarter coming up here in about an hour and a half, and then Dutch GDP year over year final. So we have our forecasted for the GDP quarter over quarter at negative 0.1%. That's on the forecast. And our previous Dutch GDP year over year was negative 0.7%. So a bit of economic data coming out this evening, but not a whole lot. Dutch headlines might affect the Euro USD, so that would be some Euro news. Okay, guys, with that being said, I'm now going to take us over to Tradingview and look at some of our market headlines here on Tradingview. And then we're going to have a look at some of our charts for the evening. Okay, guys, some of our key headlines. Let's head over to start with the bonds, see if we have any headlines on the bonds. Bank of Japan's opinions signal rising confidence over policy normalization path. That's on Market Talk. Bank of Japan may cut monthly JGB, which is Japanese government bond buying, by more than 1 trillion yen, Mitsuho says. It's from Market Talk. Okay, guys. Let's have a look at this rising confidence story, guys. This is on the Bank of Japan from Dow Jones Newswires, and it reads, "The Bank of Japan summary of opinions at its June 13 to 14 meeting signals rising confidence among board members over the Bank of Japan's policy normalization path," says Benjamin Shatil, analyst at JP Morgan Economic and Policy Research, in a research report. This is consistent with JP Morgan's forecast for an upcoming rate increase by the Bank of Japan, Shatil says. Several opinions hit at upcoming rate increases and a reduction in policy accommodation, while opinions on quantitative tightening suggest bond purchase reduction should be sizable, timely, predictable, and smooth, Shatil notes. The Japanese government bond 2-year yield is up 0.5 basis points at 0.31%. The 10-year yield is up 1.5 basis points at 0.99%, and the 20-year yield is up 2 basis points at 1.825%. Okay, guys, let's head over to some of our futures headlines. See if we have anything interesting we want to look at. All right, from Trading Economics, gold stabilizes near $2,320. Looking over on the right side of the screen, gold futures currently trading at $2,338. 1 hour ago, we have Brent slides for second session. Crude oil is currently down. Copper falls on concern about weak demand, and that's from Dow Jones Newswires. Let's have a look, guys. Copper falls in early Asian trade. While supply-side shortfall support prices, risks from weak demand, particularly in China, loom large. Analysts at StoneX Intelligence write in a note. Despite recent price corrections, the base metal still remains overvalued, they add. Higher visible inventories has reduced market tightness, and prices could remain volatile, influenced by economic and industry factors, they add. The 3-month LME copper contract is at 0.5% lower at 9,631 a ton. That's from Dow Jones Newswires. Looking over at copper futures, guys, copper futures are currently down to 4.42. That's down 0.43% during the Asian session. 2 hours ago from Reuters, wheat slips to lowest since April on improving supply. Chicago wheat futures on Monday fell to their lowest since April as the dollar strengthened and the supply outlook improved, with harvests ramping up in the United States and elsewhere, bringing new grain onto the market. Corn futures also fell slightly and soybeans were flat. Here's some of our fundamentals on our agriculture futures. The most active wheat contract on the Chicago Board of Trade, and that's ZW1, was down 0.4% at $5.73 and a half a bushel by 0051 Greenwich minutes meantime, after falling to $5.73, the lowest since April. All right, so heading over to our charts briefly, let's have a look at the wheat futures. Wheat futures currently sitting at 576 a bushel. Wheat futures have been trading somewhat down, but have recovered here as of the time of making this video. Chicago Board of Trade corn was trading 0.3% lower at $4.33 and 3/4 a bushel, and soybeans were almost unchanged at $11.20 and a half a bushel. Downgrades to Russia's harvest outlook pushed wheat prices to a 10-month high of $7.20. Let's have a look at, what is that? But weather conditions in Russia have improved, with consultants IKAR last week raising its forecast, and the country's agriculture minister saying frost did not have a significant impact on harvest volumes, as most affected farmland has been reseeded. Weather conditions in other major producers such as Australia and Canada have also improved, while the U.S. harvest is advancing quickly and farmers in Ukraine have started bringing in crops. The U.S. dollar has risen to its highest since the start of May, making U.S. farm goods more expensive for buyers with other currencies. Looking at the dollar index futures now, currently trading at 105.495. That is up 0.05% in overnight trading. The condition of France's main wheat crop was unchanged for the second week in a row last week, although the harvest is still set to plunge this summer after a damp growing season. U.S. wheat export sales in the week ended June 13 were higher than trade estimates, but corn sales were well below expectations, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. In corn markets, record high temperatures have swept across northwest and east China, threatening to curb production in the world's second largest producer and consumer of the grain. Commodity futures were not net sellers of CBOT, that's Chicago Board of Trade corn and wheat futures on Friday, but net buyers of soybeans, traders said. In markets news, a gauge of global stocks declined for a second straight session on Friday, weighed down by weaknesses in technology shares, while the dollar hit its highest level since early May as a gauge of U.S. business activity edged up to more than a 2-year high. Okay, guys, that's some of our looks at the latest headlines on the futures. Let's have a look at some of our index headlines, see if there's anything we want to have a look at. China stocks sink to 4-month lows. This is from Trading Economics. The Shanghai Composite Index dropped 1.2% to 2,970, while the Shenzhen Component tumbled 1.1% to 8,965 on Monday, with mainland stocks sinking to 4-month lows as investors continued to pull capital out of China as macro data continues to disappoint, while the lack of forceful policy support measures dampened sentiment further. Data showed that foreigners turned sellers of Chinese stocks this month, pulling out 33 billion yuan via the Stock Connect scheme with Hong Kong. Investors now look ahead to the latest manufacturing and services PMI figures in the coming weeks for more clues on the world's second largest economy. Sharp losses were seen from heavyweight firms such as Ceres Group, Foxconn Industrial, Costco Shipping, Suzhou TFC Optical, and iSoft Stone. And that's on Chinese stocks. From Trading Economics 30 minutes ago, Asian markets tumble. Asian equity markets mostly fell on Monday, taking cues from a weak lead on Wall Street as Nvidia and other artificial intelligence-related chip stocks met heavy selling after a strong run. A firmer dollar driven by concerns that the Federal Reserve could keep interest rates higher for longer amid solid U.S. business activity data also weighed on risk assets. Meanwhile, investors look ahead to Australian inflation figures and Japanese retail sales, industrial production, and unemployment data for May this week for fresh clues on countries' respective economies and monetary policies. Shares in Australia, South Korea, Hong Kong, and China declined, while Japanese stocks advanced as the yen weakened further. Having a look here over at the Japanese yen, we see that Japanese yen is currently trading down on the session 0.13%. Yen futures at 0.00634. Okay, guys, and that's going to be on our indexes. Let's have a look at some of our Forex headlines, see if there's anything interesting here. From Trading Economics, Australian dollar pressured by greenback strength. Australian dollar weakened below 0.665. We can see that the Australian dollar, as of the making of this video, is down to 0.663. Extending recent losses as the U.S. dollar rallied on strong U.S. business activity data, which dampened expectations for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. Investors also cautiously awaited Australian inflation figures this week after the country's central bank said it discussed whether a rate hike was necessary at the June meeting, while they did not consider the case for a rate cut. Those comments came after the Reserve Bank of Australia kept the cash rate unchanged at 4.35% for the fifth straight meeting, as widely expected. Markets have significantly scaled back bets for a RBA rate cut this year, with an easing not seen until April next year. Investors also look forward to the latest manufacturing and services activity data in China to gauge the economic health of Australia's largest trading partner. New Zealand dollar extends losses. That's from Trading Economics. Yen strengthens slightly on report of Japan's FX intervention warning. That's from Market Talk an hour ago. Dow Jones Newswires. Yen strengthens slightly against most other G10 and Asian currencies in early trade on reports of Japan's foreign exchange intervention warning. Local media reported that Japan's top currency official, Masato Kanda, said earlier that the authorities are prepared to take appropriate measures against sharp yen movements. Japanese officials are expected to ramp up their warnings about JPY if it keeps weakening, three members of CBA's Global Economic and Market Research say in a research report. However, their words rather than actions will likely do little to support the JPY, the members add. USD JPY is little changed at 159.7 after earlier touching 159.92, highest intraday level since April 29, according to FactSet. And as we can see, Japanese yen futures have been inching back higher after slipping in early Asian trading. Okay, guys, let's look at some of our crypto headlines. Bitcoin price takes a plunge, analyzing the sudden drop. This is from News BTC, guys. You can see that Bitcoin futures are down. They're our biggest loser on the session at 62,910, guys. Bitcoin is down. Bitcoin futures are down 2% in Asian trading this Sunday. Bitcoin price started another decline after it struggled near 64,550. BTC declined below the 63,500 support and might continue to move down. Some of our key bullet points read: Bitcoin started a fresh decline from the 64,550 resistance level. The price is trading below 63,500 and the 100 hourly simple moving average. There is a connecting bearish trend line forming with resistance at 63,600 on the hourly chart of the BTC USD pair. The pair could extend losses if there is a clear move below the 62,700 and 62,500 support levels. And the rest of the headline here reads, more downsides in BTC. If Bitcoin fails to climb above the 63,550 resistance zone, it could continue to move down. Immediate support on the downside is near the 62,700 level. The first major support is $62,200. The next support is now forming near 62,000. Any more losses might send the price towards the 61,200 support zone in the near term. Technical indicators, hourly MACD. The MACD is now gaining pace in the bearish zone. Hourly RSI, the RSI for BTC USD is now below the 50 level. Major support levels, $62,700, followed by $62,200. Major resistance levels, $63,550 and $64,500. Looking at Bitcoin futures at the moment, guys, we can see that we reached an overnight low. That low came in at 62,605. We have bounced off that a bit now. A little bit of a relief here. Currently trading at 62,970 as the making of this video. Okay, guys, let's move to all of our headlines. See if there's anything else I want to cover before I get in on the charts, guys. 1 minute ago from Reuters, Japan's Nikkei squeezes out gains in choppy session. Japan's Nikkei share average eked out gains on Monday after a mixed session on Wall Street last Friday. Let's have a look over at our Nikkei futures, guys. Nikkei futures are up to 38,745. That is up 0.58% on the session. I'm now just quickly showing that chart here on the screen before we move back to the article. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ closed slightly lower on Friday, while the Dow ended almost flat, with technical indicators and a second day of declines for NVIDIA weighing on the market. Quote, what we're seeing is a repeat of what happened into the end of May, where they were selling from these real money fund managers to get back to benchmark weightings, particularly things like the NASDAQ and NVIDIA, said Tony Sycamore, a market analyst at IG. That in turn weighs on the Nikkei, he added. Japanese chip shares in particular, which have been some of the Nikkei's strongest performers over the past year, were finding momentum hard to come by on Monday as a result. The Nikkei rose 0.24% to 38,689.22 by the midday break. The broader Topix was up 0.26% at 2,731.69. Export-related stocks advanced as the yen weakened towards the 160 per dollar level. A weaker yen helps boost Japanese exporters' overseas earnings when repatriated and increases their competitiveness. The Nikkei has traded in a narrow range in recent months, with the index on track for less than 1% gain this month after a flat May. Quote, since April, it's been a period of consolidation, as investors wait out the currency and bond market volatility and look for clarity from the Bank of Japan, IG Sycamore said. Among individual stocks, Toyota Motor rose 2.3% and was among the top percentage gainers on the Nikkei. Online service platform operator Mercari was at the bottom with a 4.1% decline. Okay, guys, and that is from Thomson Reuters. Copper inches lower as traders assess dull China demand and a strong dollar, guys. Copper futures inched lower on Monday as a firmer dollar and concerns over muted demand from top consumer China kept traders on the sideline. 3-month copper on the London Metal Exchange was down 0.2% at 9,661.5 per metric ton as of 0300 Greenwich Mean Time. Prices have fallen 13% after scaling to an all-time high above 11,100 last month. The most traded July copper contract on the Shanghai Futures Exchange lost 1.5% to 78,490 yuan, which is $10,809.21 a ton. The U.S. dollar hovered near an 8-week peak as traders look forward to fresh clues on the U.S. inflation path this week that will likely influence interest rates. A stronger dollar makes greenback price metals less attractive to buyers holding other currencies. Copper stocks in the Shanghai, I believe that's SHFE, Shanghai Exchange, have increased tenfold since the beginning of the year to 322,910 tons, indicating ample supply in China. Fiscal revenue in China fell 2.8% in the first 5 months of 2024 from a year earlier, official data showed, as weak demand drags on the economic recovery. LME aluminum slipped 0.3%, nickel rose 0.5%, zinc was steady, lead shed 0.3%, tin was up 0.3%. Okay, guys, those are some of our quick headlines here for the Asian session today for this Sunday evening. Let's head over to the charts. Okay, guys, greatest gainer here and on the overnight session, the Asian session here, is going to be the Nikkei. Nikkei futures up 0.66%. Looking at an hourly perspective, guys, and going to briefly discuss an ICT perspective. We can see that buy-side liquidity is located above 38,820. Buy-side liquidity is also located above 38,840. It does look like the market is making a run to clear in from an ICT perspective to roll back over some of these market inefficiencies and potentially run on this buy-side liquidity, which I'm highlighting with the crosshair. We're also currently sitting above on the hourly perspective, sitting well above the 20-period simple moving average. We've jumped above the second deviation Bollinger Band. Biggest loser on the session is going to be Bitcoin from an hourly perspective, clearly in a downtrend on a technical perspective with lower lows and lower highs, sitting below that 20-period simple moving average on the hourly chart, running at the lower Bollinger Band. From an ICT perspective, currently trading well within the prior candle's inefficiency. Okay, guys, that's our greatest gainer and our greatest loser on the session. Let's have a look at some of our stock indices overnight, guys. NASDAQ currently trading down 15 points. That's down 0.08%, largely flat on the session, sitting below the 20-period simple moving average on an hourly perspective. From an ICT perspective, we're currently sitting in a sell-side fair value gap. Again, that's a sell-side fair value gap, trading within that fair value gap. From an ICT perspective, if the market were to use this as an inverted fair value gap, could take us all the way back above 20,000, this short-term buy-side liquidity here above 20,038. If the market continues to go over, I'm seeing relatively equal highs here above 20,081 and above 20,086.75. So if the market wanted to turn around here, could see a quick run up to this older sell side fair value gap I'm highlighting with the cursor and above buy side liquidity, guys. That is if the market were to turn down. We also have relative equal lows below that 19,912.50 level. You can see on the cursor. Let's take our horizontal line tool, and we can see here that there is sell-side liquidity, equal lows at 19,913.75. So from an ICT perspective, we have liquidity to the sell side, liquidity to the buy side. From a basic technical analysis perspective here, we're not making higher lows. We're not trending right now. We're kind of detrending in the overnight session. So I'm not expecting a ton of volatility here as of yet on the NASDAQ. We're currently working in a trading range. Okay, guys, let's have a look at the ES, see if it's largely the same picture. ES futures here overnight trading at 55.28 halves. That's 5528.5. We're down 5 3/4 points. That's down 0.110%. So largely flat on in the overnight session on the ES. Now let's have a look at crude oil. Crude oil trading at 80.66. That's down 0.09% on the session. Last 4 hours, however, have rallied. From a technical perspective, crude oil looks like it has entered into a new downtrend with lower lows and lower highs, trading below that 20-period simple moving average, although our last 4 hourly candles have been higher. Okay, guys, finally, let's look at Euro futures. Euro futures currently trading flat on the session, really down 0.02%. Currently trading at 1.07355. That is our Euro futures update, trading right in the middle of a trading range from a technical perspective. Very flat, very consolidating right now. Doesn't look like the euro is trending very much, just sitting right on that 20-period simple moving average. From an ICT perspective, I am seeing lots of equal lows here. I would say our sell side target on the euro is going to come in at 1.0715. That's 3 equal lows on the hourly chart, indicating there is likely sell side liquidity to be ran below that number from an ICT perspective. Okay, guys, finally, let's look at our 30-year T-bond futures. 30-year T-bond futures currently trading at 119.28, right at that 20-period simple moving average. Not a ton of movement there. Gold futures, guys, 2,337.7. Hourly perspective sitting below that 20-period simple moving average after a large move down on Friday. Sunday's trading has pared back some of those losses. Sell side liquidity I'm seeing at 2,329. Seeing relative equal lows here on a short-term perspective. Also seeing sell side liquidity below that low we made on the 18th of June. If the market were to run on that sell side liquidity, we could see it reach 2,319 or below. In the immediate term, I'm seeing sell side liquidity located at 2,328. So from an ICT perspective, if we're going to run on sell side liquidity, the immediate target would be down to that 2,328 level. Okay, guys, see if there's any other markets that I want to have a look at. Do want to have a look at Japanese yen futures. We've been reading a lot about the Bank of Japan sending out trial balloons that the Bank of Japan is going to intervene on the yen weakness. Yen futures on that chatter have lost some of the, have pared back some of the losses that we saw earlier. Yen futures now trading down 0.08% at 0.006344. That is down 0.08% on the overnight session. Last couple hours have brought back some of our losses. During the overnight session tonight, we reached a low at 0.0063325. That low came in a few hours ago. A lot of chatter here on the market that the Bank of Japan is considering intervening in its currency. So we could see a rally in the yen here at some point if policymakers in Japan go ahead and step in and intervene. So I'm looking, I've got an idea on a yen long, basically. Okay, guys, some of our agricultures. So we can see corn. Corn was trading down. We've now pared back some of those losses. We're up on the session, 0.23%. That's at 436 a bushel. We reached a low here at 433.4 a bushel. Now coming back up a little bit, guys, and that's on corn futures. Okay, finally, let's talk about the U.S. dollar futures. U.S. dollar futures now coming back a bit, scaling back some of the gains we had in the overnight session. Currently trading largely flat, 0.03%. That's at 105.475. Latest headline reads 1 hour ago, dollar towers at a near 2-month high, guys. So we've seen a lot of strength in the dollar. From a technical perspective, or an ICT perspective, we've recently run on buy-side liquidity. Now starting to see a little bit of comeback or a little bit of paring back. We do have a buy-side fair value gap here located between 105.320 and 105.220. So from a technical perspective, from an ICT perspective, to me it's looking like we could have some pairing of gains come on the dollar, as the dollar has been incredibly strong. So there could be some mean reversion in for us on the dollar. All right, guys, with all of that being said, I want to thank you for coming in to this Sunday's Futures Markets Recap. Guys, this is the R Trades channel where I talk about futures from a fundamental and a technical perspective. If you are interested in this content, if you like trading futures, you like listening to my voice, then please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and use those affiliate links in the description box below. Supporting me financially makes sure that I can make the dream come true, get ad revenue coming here on YouTube, and hopefully get some real income coming from this, guys. So again, if you're going to sign up to a Topstep, an Apex, or the Trading Pit, please make sure to use my affiliate links in the description box below. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and this has been R Trades. It is Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. Good luck.